This is the 2019 Phillips 66 Big 12 Baseball Championship. Live from the beautiful Chickasaw Bricktown Ballpark in downtown Oklahoma City, it is an elimination game action. And the top seeds, the regular season champs, face elimination, the Texas Tech Red Raiders, as they take on the resilient fifth-seeded Kansas Jayhawks. We are in Division I of this event. Texas Tech won its opener over Kansas State 7-4 before being shut down by Alek Manoah in West Virginia. Manoah, the Big 12 Conference Pitcher of the Year, 10 strikeouts against the Red Raiders. But Kansas, resilient, and then some probably. They trailed by 4 runs and then 3 runs, headed to the bottom of the 11th, but they rallied for 4 wins to keep their season alive. A 15-14 win over the Kansas State Wildcats yesterday. Winner moves on and has to beat West Virginia twice tomorrow. The loser is done for this championship. And welcome upstairs to the booth alongside the 4-time College World Series participant at Oklahoma, George Frazier. I'm Chad McKee. Momentum so important in this sport. Texas Tech's bats got stymied by Alek Manoah last night, and Kansas is confident after coming from behind to win. Do the Jayhawks have an advantage they can roll through this game?
Well, I think they do, and the reason I say that, because they came back so many different times against Kansas State. Down 3, and all of a sudden they got 1 out, and they don't have anybody on base. Next thing you know, they score 4, they win a ball game. So, yes, I think momentum's there. Can it carry them through? It all starts on the mound, and the guy that got on the mound has had success. We'll see how it plays out.
That'll be Ryan Sear on the mound this afternoon for the Jayhawks. He'll face a very good Texas Tech lineup. Just about set for action here in this elimination game. And for the Red Raiders, it'll be Bryce Bonin towing the rubber. He faces the DH, Jack Wagner, for Kansas to get this game started. We are underway. Here is the lineup. Wagner, and then the hero yesterday, James Cosentino. He had the walk-off base hit in the 11th. The All-Big 12 catcher, Jax Groshans, in the number 3 spot. And then Brett Vosick. Here's the full lineup. Vosick, Metcalf, Benjamin Sims, and Skylar Messenger. Blake Schinkel will get the start out in right today. And Casey Burnham is the center fielder. Bryce Bonin. 5 of his starts, he's gone 5 or more innings. Of course, these two teams played a regular 3-game series, with the Red Raiders winning 2 of the 3 games they played out in Lubbock. The numbers on Bonin, 5-1, mainly a starter this year, George.
He has worked in the rotation for the majority of the year, and 11 appearances, 9 starts for him on the season.
Three balls and 2 strikes to Wagner. Jack Wagner's had a good tournament, 3 out of 11. He had 2 runs scored and 2 runs batted in. In fact, Wagner drove in the tying run yesterday. And he draws the walk to start this one. And that brings in the hero from yesterday, James Cosentino.
And had a down year so far. And I think that's the one thing with Cosentino is yesterday had a big moment to come back into this ball game. And when he did, he came up huge.
Cosentino takes a strike. Rich Price said that is one of the best games he's ever been a part of. Head coach at the Division I level for 24 years, 17 at Kansas. And you alluded to it, Cosentino has suffered with some injuries this year. He was a freshman All-American. And Rich Price, more than anything, was thrilled for the moment for James Cosentino. It's what you do this for.
Well, I think the day before he had boogered up his thumb. They didn't even know if he was going to play or not. First time up yesterday, had him bunt, so in your mind you're thinking, is he going to have to bunt the whole time through this series, take advantage of the defense, lose the offense, and he came up with some big base hits yesterday.
Cosentino pulls this one through the right side for a base hit. Wagner has his eyes on third base. The throw by Holt will not be in time. It's a walk and a base hit, and a threat brewing for the Jayhawks in the first.
You ought to feel pretty confident too with Jax Groshans coming to the plate. 43 RBIs with 12 home runs too, with a runner at third and nobody out. So early in this ball game, he just sat back and wait on the double play. Another look at Cosentino's hooking the fastball through the right side.
Well, Bonin pitched in the series against Kansas, and it didn't go so well for him then. He went just an inning and a third, gave 3 earned runs on 2 hits to this Kansas team. He's in jeopardy here in the first as Groshans sends a high drive to deep left field. Wilson is back to the warning track, and he has to avoid where the wall kind of juts backward, but he makes the catch. Tagging and scoring is Wagner. Jax Groshans has given Kansas a 1-0 lead.
And 44 RBIs for Jax Groshans on the year now, and he did exactly what he has all year long. A professional at bat with a runner at third and less than 2 to put the Jayhawks on top 1-0. Got a fastball elevated. I think for a second he thought he got it. Probably 10 feet to the left. It's either halfway up the wall or out of here. The wind is gusting to the left side again.
On the move is Cosentino. The throw to second base will not get him as Young comes stumbling across in front of the bag. That's 10 stolen bases for Cosentino.
Here's the thing. Kansas has nothing to lose. So why not be as aggressive as you can? Let's try to get to the morning game. Let's take our shot there. And you see, quick jump, throw off line, going to be a little bit short. Fulford, the normal catcher for Texas Tech, getting a day off after last night's late game, and Stillwell is the catcher today.
61st stolen base for the Jayhawks as a team.
When you don't have a lot of high average guys, and let's be honest, there's a lot of guys in that 260 to 250 range in their lineup. So you have to create offense any way you can, and one of those obvious ways is with speed, and they have some.
Brett Vosick, 3 for 10 here in this championship as he yanks this one foul up first base way. Vosick, all 3 hits yesterday. He drove in 4 runs in that come from behind win over Kansas State. Had 2 doubles in the game. A good start for the Jayhawks in this elimination game. Swing and a miss. 2-2.
Pretty good off-speed pitch on the outside corner. Had late run and movement to it. And got the swing and miss.
Bryce Bonin is a transfer from Arkansas. A year ago, he was 1-0 with a 4.26 ERA for the Razorbacks in 11 games. His brother Blake played at Texas as this pitch misses down and in. And the count is full. Bonin's payoff pitch. Vosick fouls it off. Well, for Kansas, and I think it's been this way all week, it is play as though your season on the line, because there's a good possibility that it is. Finished 500 in the second toughest conference in the country. They got hot at the end of the year. They've won 8 of 11 games coming into this one. As that pitch is swung on and a foul tip is hung onto by Stillwell. It is a strikeout of Vosick. 2 down. Texas Tech defense. Stillwell is catching, as George alluded to. Easton Morrell is down at third base today. Young and Klein, the middle infielders, and Cameron Warren, the all Big 12 first baseman. Wilson, and then 2 guys that can really go get it out there in the outfield in Noisy and Holt. So Cosentino at second base, a run home, 2 down for Nolan Metcalf. Metcalf making his 27th start. 257 hitter, 4 homers, and he's driven in 22 runs. But he's had a very good Big 12 championship. 5 hits in 11 plate appearances for Nolan Metcalf. Scored a couple of runs yesterday. He's driven in 2 runs here in Bricktown as well. Metcalf, a junior out of Granger, Indiana. Oh-2 from Bonin. Lined over the upper deck, foul and out of play.
But didn't we have 5 2-out base hits by Kansas?
They did.
Yesterday. So with 2 outs here, none bigger now with speed at second base.
Yeah, you think about what they did just in that 11th inning. Pete Hughes' Kansas State team had rallied to take the lead in the 11th, and they've got 2 outs, and they just start stringing together hits. They tie it up on a hit by Wagner, and then Cosentino won it with his base hit. Another 0-2 pitch. Fly ball, shallow center field. Could be a tough spot, but it hangs up and it's dropped by Klein. Of course, Cosentino was on the move with 2 outs, so he will score the second Kansas run. The sure-handed Brian Klein looked like maybe it hit in the heel of his glove, and it falls for a 2-0 KU lead.
And I would think a base hit. Very difficult play going back on the baseball to reach up and try to make this catch on the fly. Looking thinks that he had it. Of course, when you reverse and you're running, chances are it could hit the palm and pop out. That's exactly what happened.
So Cosentino scores the run, and it's 2-0 KU. We see error posted on the board. We'll see if maybe that gets changed as Klein handles this one cleanly off the bat of Sims. Inning is over, but it's a good one for the Jayhawks. Another elimination game for them today, and they've posted 2 in the first inning. Sacrifice fly, 2 runs across. Texas Tech, the top seed, coming to the plate after this. The Big 12 Conference next, Phillips 2-0 Jayhawks on top. Bottom of the first inning coming your way from the Phillips 66 Big 12 Baseball Championship. Texas Tech, difficulty with Alek Manoah last night. We'll see if this potent offense can get on track here today. Holt, Noisy, Klein, and then the Big 12 co-player of the year, Josh Young. Cameron Warren, all Big 12 over at first base with Masters, Kurt Wilson, Easton Morrell, and Cole Stillwell doing the catching and batting ninth. And they will face right-hander Ryan Sear. You know, you don't have many complete games in college baseball. Heck, even in the big leagues anymore, George. This guy's pitched 4 complete games, and he had a stretch of 3 complete games in a row.
Totally amazing, particularly this time of the year. But he is a ground ball sinker type pitcher. Not a lot of strikeouts, and in his 3 career starts against, or excuse me, 2 career starts against Texas Tech, a total of 8 innings, 10 hits, 4 runs, 3 walks, and 4 strikeouts. Batting average against, he's going to give up hits. You just try to minimize damage. In other words, guy gets on, throw the 2-seam fastball, get you a ground ball double play.
Just keep it in the ballpark, which may be tough to do.
Well, I've never seen a ground ball jump over the fence yet.
This is true. Gabe Holt leads things off. Fouls the first pitch back. Sear pitched in game 1 of the series between these 2 teams this year. And with 6 innings, 7 hits, 3 runs, 4 strikeouts against Texas Tech, and he got a no decision. There's the terrific year that Gabe Holt has had, batting .326 with 47 runs scored. But it's 0-2. Holt, first team All Big 12, the Big 12 Freshman of the Year last year. Leads the conference with 74 hits and 25 stolen bases. Reaches out, pokes this one past the diving Skylar Messenger. A 2-strike opposite field single for Holt as he just choked up, put the ball in play.
It's what it makes him appealing to everybody that watches him play the game. Exactly what you said, Chad. Choke up, minimize my lower half, have a handsy swing, and try to shoot it through the infield. Because its speed is his game. 25 out of 28 in stolen base category. Look for him to go early.
And he will try to run on one of the best catchers in the country, Jax Groshans. Groshans has thrown out 16 of 41 would-be base stealers. Holt's good. And Sear knows it.
Do the little things. I know one of my first teammates at the big league level was Lou Brock. Pretty good base stealer. 938 stolen bases all time until Ricky Henderson came along. Lou used to say, if you hold the ball on me, it drives me crazy. Because the longer you hold it, the more my body tenses on wanting to go. step off, lazy throw over, snap throw over. Mix up your routine as a pitcher is as effective as having a 1-2-1 or a 1-2-5 pop time to the plate, to where you it's a slide step to the plate to give your catcher the opportunity. There's ways to combat the stolen bases. And I think pitching wise, I don't know if it's taught as well as it used to, even at the major league level. Of course, you get into pro ball, there's not a lot of guys stealing bases. I mean, Billy Hamilton steals. It's part of his game. But there's not a lot of guys that steal 40, 50 bases a year anymore.
But there still is at the college level. West Virginia, they've stolen around 100 bases this year. Texas Tech can run 61 steals for them. Kansas will run a little bit. Jayhawks have stolen 61 as well.
That's part of their game.
You don't even have to necessarily throw over all that much. John Lester never throws over to first base because he's left-handed.
Well, he can't.
He can't throw to first, but he pauses, he looks over, changes what he's doing up there, and guys just don't steal all that much.
And people ask me that question. How's a guy make $33 million a year, win 18 to 20 games every year, and he can't throw to first?
He's a horse.
And I said, guys, not many get to first, number one.
Yeah.
But when they do get over there, he doesn't really care, because he's going to get a ground ball. He's going to strike somebody out. Now you get in the playoffs, it gets exposed because guys start bunting on him and doing different things because they know he's very difficult to hit as a pitcher.
A ball and 2 strikes to Dylan Noisy. The other thing that struck me about you talking about Lou Brock is we'll get the 1-2 to Noisy. Hits it foul out of play. You said 938 career stolen bases. Do you actually have that in your memory bank, or are you making that up?
No, I'm pretty sure it's 938. I'd have to double check it. Maybe Dan could give me a shot at it.
Dan's on it right now. We're going to test your knowledge.
It's in the 900s. I was there when he got his 3,000th base hit as a teammate.
You see the Big 12 stolen base leaders. White, Tucker, and Dones, all the Mountaineers who are in the catbird seat, by the way, in Division I here in this Phillips 66 Big 12 championship. And that ball's fouled out of play. What do we mean by the catbird seat? West Virginia is in the catbird seat, and Oklahoma State is in the catbird seat. They're off today. Don't have to play a game. And then somebody will have to beat each of them twice on Saturday to keep it from being the Mountaineers and Cowboys in the finals on Sunday.
Winning your first 2 ball games just change everything.
And they do it a little differently, those two teams. 1-2 back up the middle. Sims ranges over, steps on second, lobs to first, and it's a double play. 6-3 for Kansas. That is their 39th double play of the year.
Just what I was meaning by Ryan Sear and his approach in the game is pretty simple. Guy gets on, get the ball on the ground. Not, what do they call it now? I guess analytical people call it soft contact.
Soft contact, yes.
The balls aren't hit hard because of the movement.
Well, after a double play, good time to show you this defense. Bosick, Burnham, and Schinkel plays right today. Messenger, you saw Sims. Cosentino, the veteran second baseman, and Metcalf with one of the best catchers in the country, Jack Groshans. Listen to this, ladies and gentlemen. How many years ago has that been since Lou Brock stole?
Well, he retired, I think, 1980, so it was 1978.
1978. 938 stolen bases for your former teammate Lou Brock, and without looking, you nailed it.
Yeah,
that's remarkable.
And what a nice gentleman. Him and his wife are just wonderful, wonderful people. Lou today still great. Remember, he came down and played in a celebrity golf tournament for me in Springfield, Missouri, where I grew up, for Special Olympics. He had 18 woods in his bag.
18 woods.
Yeah. He said, I'm horrible and I know it. So
I'm just going to have fun with these.
Yeah. Great story about him. It's next to last year before he retired. He had like 230, and they're writing in the papers he's washed up and needs to retire. You're blocking the path of all these other great players to get to the big leagues, and you just need to get out of here. That winter, he went out and diligently worked out privately. And hit like 328. So I'll leave on my own terms.
That's right.
You're not going to tell me when to retire.
A drop the bat moment to end his career for the
Remember
great
the Brock
Lou
umbrella?
Brock.
You're probably too young.
No, I remember it. Yeah.
Yeah, where you wear the umbrella on your head.
Yeah. That was great. People wonderful. Still wear them in places, don't they?
Yeah. See him out on the golf course quite a bit.
3 balls and 2 strikes here to Brian Klein. Gabe Holt had a base hit. Jayhawks have a double play. Klein fouls this one out of play. Klein 1 for 6 in this Big 12 championship. That base hit came in Texas Tech's win over Kansas State back on Wednesday. What a great year Klein has had again. Second team all Big 12. 69 hits, top 10 in the Big 12 in batting average. He's hitting .337 as he swings and misses on a 3-2 pitch. A strikeout for Ryan Sear, who faces the minimum in the first inning. 2-0 Jayhawks in an elimination game at the Phillips 66 Big 12 Baseball Championship. A thrilling walk-off win to survive elimination by the Jayhawks yesterday afternoon. That's James Cosentino with the walk-off. It scored Jack Wagner, and a 15-14 Sunflower State showdown win for the Jayhawks in their old Montreal Expos caps yesterday. What a thrill. Rich Price, he's been doing this a long time, and he said that's about as good as I've ever seen.
17 years as a head coach at Kansas.
Yep.
Just got a text from a really good friend of mine, Bill Springman, who works for the Detroit Tiger organization, is minor league hitting coach, longtime resident of Tulsa, Oklahoma. His text in said, we're watching down here.
Yeah.
He's in New York right now in the New York Penn League. So a lot of those guys that pay attention to what's going on. I can hear the locker room now arguing, you know, the Big 12 versus somebody else.
Yeah.
Hear it all going on. His son this spring, boy, bad accident. And recovered now. Saw Slater the other day throughout the first pitch at a high school game. Great to see him back. Hope he gets back on the field again, which I think he will. He looked wonderful.
That's good.
A lot of prayers were answered, I can tell you that.
Messenger leads things off. Lower third of the lineup here for the Jayhawks. Messenger, Schinkel, and Burnham. As Bonin misses a little bit away with that one. 2-1 the count. Chronicled the season for the Jayhawks. It started with 25 straight games on the road.
Can you imagine that? Some of them in high school games. And not only that.
That shot gets under the glove of Bonin and skips into center for Messenger.
Hey, not only that. You're traveling from Lawrence, Kansas to Dallas, Texas, a suburb of Dallas.
To play home games.
At a high school.
Yeah. They played
bad the weather was.
Melissa, Texas. They played at Air Hog Stadium in Grand Prairie.
Yeah, another look at this base hit. Think about taking the ball right back up the middle. And I think it's important. If you don't have a lot of power and you can't pull that trigger to hit the ball out of the park like a Cameron Warren or one of those guys, think about hitting the ball up the middle. The most open part of the field you can get a base hit with, with the exception of a runner on first and the hole open on the right side.
Schinkel squares to bunt and does bunt, and it's a good one. Bonin pops off the mound, fires it across to Warren. It's a sacrifice, and Messenger is in scoring position. So Blake Schinkel gets his job done. That's Schinkel's third sacrifice of the year. There's Messenger.
Just do the job. And I mean, he did it perfectly. He just squared around, gave himself up, got the ball on the ground, put it placed perfectly where the pitcher's got to get it, not a shot at the runner at second.
Burnham now. He was 1 for 5 yesterday. Burnham's 41st start of the year. He's a .242 hitter as he stands in. And whacks this one foul, out of play. So let's talk a little bit about the weather, hoping not to jinx it, George.
Oh, don't do it. Don't do it.
There's a chance of rain.
See, I knew you did it.
Now,
you did it.
There's good news and bad news. About a 40% chance that it will rain.
Which means there's a 60% chance not to rain.
I love your positivity, partner.
Yes.
There's a 60% chance that it will not rain. Look, that even says 70% chance that it will not rain. So things looking up already. It's gotten better since we started.
What will affect these players is the humidity. It is muggy today. And playing a game at this time in the afternoon, the hottest part of the time after the strikeout for out number 1, 2, that you take care of yourself in the dugout, hydrate a lot. You know, the other thing, Gene Monahan, a longtime trainer of the Yankees, retired a few years ago, used to put ammonia towels around our necks.
Oh, yeah.
And cover your head in them.
Put those towels in a big bucket of ice water when you come in the dugout.
You know, the hottest I ever participated in was in the old stadium in St. Louis.
Oh my gosh, Old Busch Stadium, all concrete, AstroTurf.
130 degrees on the turf on a Sunday afternoon, July. And I remember George Hendricks, longtime great outfielder, wore rubber cleats, but they had the metal rivets back in those days. You know, they didn't have aviated soles and all those things. He would come in and dunk his shoes into the ice in between innings, and steam would come out of the bucket.
From the metal on the bottom.
Right.
The rivets.
Steam would come out.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Well, you wore rubber cleats, they'd melt on that AstroTurf.
It was bad. I tell you, because they had all that time they were all conversion stadiums. You know, go from baseball to football.
Right. There was no open air blowing through, just big round concrete edifices. Is that a word? Am I using that properly? Edifices?
Bigger than I've ever heard. But you graduated.
You made money playing pro ball.
I'm not sure where you made it. You graduated, but you graduated.
Wagner walked and scored one of the 2 KU runs in the first. 3-0. Messenger still out there in scoring position. Bonin pumps a strike through there. Wagner is a 300 hitter, hasn't played all that much. He played only 5 games in Big 12 conference play, but he's been in there for now all 3 games in this Big 12 championship. Had a big series against Kansas State to close the regular season. Drove in 3 runs in that. And there's ball 4. First base open. 2 walks that Jack Wagner has been issued in this game. Cosentino had a base hit that bounced off Klein's glove out in shallow right center back in the first. It drove in a run. Beg your pardon. He scored on Metcalf's base hit.
Cosentino hit a rocket to the right side of the infield. One thing about Cosentino, when your season didn't go as you anticipated, average-wise, home run-wise, that you can increase your, where people really think you can play a little bit. You know, hey, that's worth the draft. I like what I see right here. In a tournament like this, in a tournament setting, come up with big hits, do little things, make the plays defensively.
And this is a guy that's had success at this level. He was a freshman All-American. Honorable mention All-Conference last year. 3-year starter at a high level. And even though he hasn't had a great year, he's still in the top 10 in the Big 12 in runs scored. He's got 49 of them now.
I like the way the guy plays the game.
I agree with you. Swings it from the left side, middle infielder. 3-0 the count, so Bonin got the 2 outs, but now can't find the strike zone. There's ball 4. It's a 4-pitch walk to load the bases. And we will see a mound visit. Matt Gardner, the 6th-year pitching coach of the Red Raiders. He played for Tim Tadlock at Grayson County Community College. Matt Gardner, former Oklahoma State player. And they've got a Texas Tech flair on this staff. Of course, they've got Ray Hayward, terrific former player at Oklahoma, as a special assistant.
Yeah, #1 draft pick, was the pitching coach prior to Gardner showing up.
And Eric Gutierrez, who's a former Big 12 Conference Player of the Year, is their volunteer assistant.
I thought I'd love to put Tim on the line, you know, when he gets on air with us, and he'll visit with us in Twin Cities. So who do you take, Gutierrez or Warren? Just to give him a hard time. Gutierrez was a heck of a college player. Boy, he's good.
That may be a good question to ask him. Yeah, Gutierrez was good. Meeting adjourn out on the mound. And Jax Groshans is in with the bases loaded. He could really make a difference in this game right here. Groshans, 12 homers, 43 runs batted in, and a .340 hitter. You sit there and you say, how's he only honorable mention all conference? Well, look at the catchers in the Big 12. Got about 5 of them who've had great years.
Well, there's 5 of them, and the ones that are draft eligible will be ones that go in probably the first 5 rounds of the Major League draft that's coming up.
And Groshans is one of those draft eligible. First pitch to him is outside. But we're talking about Langoliers down at Baylor. Colin Simpson of Oklahoma State hit another home run last night. Ivan Gonzalez, West Virginia. I mean, there are a bunch of good catchers in the league. The 1-0 to Groshans. There's a good pitch for a strike. Groshans is 4 out of 8 here in the Big 12 championship. 3 runs scored. Messenger is the runner at third. Wagner at second. Cosentino at first. Pulled past third and foul. Right on top of it is Mike Morris, our third base umpire.
So much better, and I should say easier for the umpire if you straddle that foul line. You can see Morris straddle that perfectly. So when a ball's hit down that line, you've got a very good beat on it. Was it outside? You bet. Foul ball called immediately.
So it is 1-2 now to Groshans. Had a sacrifice fly that scored the first KU run in the first inning. Two and two. Jax Groshans digging in. Time call.
Backside drive one now.
And another foul ball up the third base side by Groshans. Groshans 50 walks, leads the Big 12. Driven in 42 runs. Another 2-2 pitch headed home. Groshans shoots one through the left side, a base hit. Messenger scores. Wagner is around third. The throw is not in time. And Jax Groshans comes through again for Kansas. He has a 2-run single. It's 4-0 Jayhawks.
But keep tacking on the RBIs, and he got this one right through the left side. They went fastball away, then it came inside on him, and he shot it through the left side of the infield. Pretty good speed on the base paths for the Jayhawks. And Messenger and Wagner, and they both come around to score. If you start to dissect the inning, the one thing that jumps out, 2-out walks didn't help you.
And those were issued to Wagner and Cosentino. Wagner has scored. Cosentino is at second. And the batter is Vasic. Vasic struck out back in the first. That's outside. Activity out in the Texas Tech bullpen right now. Connor Queen is out there.
Hasn't pitched a lot of innings this year, but he's been very successful when he did. He hadn't given up an earned run in 11 1/3 innings.
This one rolled foul up the first base side. Looks like Hunter Dobbins is also going to join Queen out there in the bullpen. Well, this Kansas team, hey, they're hot. There's something to be said for that headed to the postseason. You just win as many games and take your chances. But they got a series win over Oklahoma State. And they beat this Texas Tech team and West Virginia on the road. Another 2-2 swing and a miss. So Bonin strikes out Bosick for the second time. But the Jayhawks get a pair again. 2 two-run innings for Kansas so far. And a 2-run single by Jax Groshans. 4-0 Jayhawks headed to the bottom of the second. Well, the Red Raiders are 1-1 in this event. They got a good win in their opener 7-4 over Kansas State back on Wednesday. K-State made that game close, but a couple of late runs right here that you see. Able to pull away and win that thing as Young scores the 7th run. And then yesterday it was just a big dose of the Big 12 Pitcher of the Year, Alek Manoah. Manoah scattered 4 hits, made just 1 run, struck out 10 in his 8 innings on the mound. And so the Bats trying to wake up a little bit here this afternoon for the top-seeded Red Raiders as they trail 4-0. Young, Warren, and Masters coming to the plate against Ryan Sear. And Sear hits Young with the very first pitch. Young got hit by Manoah last night.
Every team I've seen face him, they're trying to pitch him in constantly, and if you have a running fastball, there's a pretty good chance you're going to get him.
Young none too happy about it. Ryan Sear hits him with a pitch. Sixth time that Young has been hit by a pitch this year. And the 6th batter that Sear has hit. And here is Cameron Warren. Pulled foul as he whacks that one down the left field line.
And one thing you have to guard against. You really have to guard against. And we'll look at this ball again. He got way out front on. Yeah, well, let's take a look at these numbers first.
That is Cameron Warren, not Cody Masters. Sear misses outside.
It's getting into the dugout. As a pitcher, you realize elimination. You warm up. You're locked in. Thoughts are there. You go out. You get a big double play. You get out of the inning. Come to the dugout. They put 2 more on the board. In the meantime, you let the air out. Just kind of exhale mentally, physically, and it's difficult when it's this hot, this much on the line, that you maintain that intensity as much as you can in the dugout. Go down in the tunnel where there's a breeze and a fan. Put the cold towels around the neck and have your thoughts solely on what you're trying to accomplish here in this game. Sometimes you let the air out a little bit and then all of a sudden make a mistake. Hit a guy. Base hit. Bunt a guy over. Hit and run. Next thing you know, they got 2 on the board.
Warren drives this one past the third baseman Messenger out into left field. And here comes that Texas Tech offense. A walk to Young and a base hit for Warren. Runners at first and second and nobody out.
The alarm went off a little bit earlier for the Kansas Jayhawks than it has for the Red Raiders, but it's starting to wake up now. And Warren really can swing the bat. People, if you want to downgrade him because of size and what he does, one thing the kid can do, he can hit. And he can drive in runs.
Cody Masters now. Young in scoring position and nobody out. Fouled back. Want to take a chance to say Happy Memorial Day weekend to everybody out there. Hope you're having a good time. Hope that you will be able to come and join us here at the Chickasaw Bricktown Ballpark.
Not to be Debbie Downer, but I hope everyone's safe in the Tulsa area where the lakes are extremely high here in Oklahoma right now. I know some of you have been displaced from your homes that live along the Arkansas River. We hope you're well.
This down and in, and thanks to all of our service members out there, veterans.
That's the first time ever for me that I drove by Oral Roberts this morning on my way up, and they had free sandbags. You went there, and I've lived in Tulsa since '76, part of the flood in '86, and first time I've ever seen that. And you can come and get as many as you need for your house. Jinx High School, Union, Bixby.
This one fair. Masters lays down the bunt. Sear gets the out. Young and Warren each move up a base.
You know, I really like what Sear did there. A lot of guys sprint to the baseball. They grab it offside balance, and they do what we call a chicken wing and just kind of flip it underhanded, which creates a lot of movement on the ball. It can sail, it can get in the dirt. But what he does, he charges off the mound, and once he receives the baseball, crow hop, feet are underneath of him, perfect strike to the bag. Because you're going to throw that ball 80 miles an hour over to first base. That guy can't run 80 miles an hour. You have time if you allow yourself.
Here's Wilson with 2 men in scoring position and 1 down.
Get a ball on the ground. If it's up the middle, fine. You take the out and give up the run, but you don't want a big ball hitting the gap right now to give up 2.
Wilson, a .293 hitter with 2 homers, 9 driven in. 1-1. Wilson 3 out of 8 here in this Big 12 championship. Had 2 hits on Wednesday. Sophomore from Arlington. Was a two-way player last year. Made 10 starts in the outfield and 17 appearances on the hill. And this should drive in a run. Fly ball to right. Schinkel backs up to take it. Young will tag at third base as the throw comes in, and the Red Raiders are on the board. A sacrifice fly by Kurt Wilson makes it 4-1 Kansas.
Didn't try to do too much with it. He was in a 1-1 count when the ball was hit. And all he was trying to do is lift the ball to the outfield. Less than 2. Let's get the run across any way you can. And fly ball hit to the right side. Schinkel was able to retrieve the ball. He went for third for the lesser of the 2 speeds to try to get maybe Warren at third base, and that didn't work. But now you got to finish off your inning if you're Sear.
A run home for the Red Raiders here, but 2 outs, and Easton Morrell is the batter. That one foul off the dirt, off the foot, and it's 0-2. Just the 4th start of the year for Easton Morrell. He's played 17 games. So Tim Tadlock giving him a chance in this elimination game. Red Raiders dialing things up for the postseason. They'll be a regional host out at Rick Griffin Park. That place will be bananas next weekend.
Tell you, I started thinking about that ball out in front of Jackson. Jeff Haxon, who does the radio broadcast for Texas Tech, on the radio for a national championship basketball game. Didn't win. But now, if this baseball team gets to the College World Series, that's a pretty good year as a broadcaster.
Absolutely. Texas Tech's been to the College World Series 3 times in the last 5 years, including last year. Big 12 so adept at sending teams to Omaha. Texas and Texas Tech both last year. They've had 3 teams twice in the last 5 years.
And the big thing is the expectations. I mean, as a club, you expect to go. As a coaching staff, as a community, you expect them to go.
This is a shot right at Vosick. He'll run in and squeeze it, kind of hesitating for a moment as Morrell hit that ball hard. Red Raiders get on the board. Cameron Warren a base hit, and he's driven in by Kurt Wilson. Josh Young crosses the plate. 4-1 Kansas, though, headed to the third. This is the 2019 Phillips 66 Big 12 Baseball Championship from the Chickasaw Bricktown Ballpark, downtown Oklahoma City. I'm Chad McKee alongside George Frazier. Texas Tech and Kansas in an elimination game and a 4-1 lead for the Jayhawks. This is the fourth meeting between these teams this year, as you see some KU fans who have made the trek down, but these teams playing out in Lubbock. And it was wins in back-to-back games for the Red Raiders before Kansas bashed out 13 runs to win the third game of that series. That was April 5th through 7th out at Rip Griffin Park. Kansas actually led the opening game of that series 4-0 after 5 innings, but it was Texas Tech winning in a walk-off single by Brian Klein in the 9th inning. Ryan Sear, who starts the game today for Kansas, pitched for KU in that game. And then game 2, 19-4 Texas Tech. Warren homered. 5 Red Raiders had at least 2 hits. Caleb Killian was the winning pitcher. And then game 3, a Jayhawks win of 13-9. Saw a guy who's been pretty important coming off the bench for KU this week, Lichty. He drove in 4 runs in that game. This one tapped foul by Nolan Metcalf. Metcalf, Sims, and Messenger due up against Bryce Bonnet. Bonnet, 4 hits, 4 earned runs. Walks have been a problem. He's given up 3 of them and struck out 3. Check swing, but he went around. And Stillwell will pick it up, and he will tag Metcalf for the first out.
Power hitters can get fooled, and because of the strength of their swing, once it starts, really hard to stop it.
4th strikeout for Bonnet. And he will work to Benjamin Sims, the shortstop. Nice little crowd this afternoon. When you think about it, the 2 closest teams are not playing today. Oklahoma eliminated. Oklahoma State has the day off. But a good gathering. Such a great area down here in Bricktown. Maps Project got it all started. The original Maps Project brought about the Chickasaw Bricktown Ballpark, and later on another piece of the Maps puzzle brought the now Chesapeake Energy Arena, which is the home of the Oklahoma City Thunder here. But so many hotels. I mean, you think about it, George. 20 years ago, it was the ballpark and that parking garage, which is just outside the wall.
Was the parking garage here?
It's been here for a long time. That's a good question. I would not say 100% that it has been. And you've added those hotels.
We had stockyards. You had everything else downtown.
Fairgrounds, where old All Sports Stadium was. The old Big 8 tournament used to be played out there.
And I participated out there.
You played in the Big 8 tournament. That had
one of the first broadcasts I ever did. I did like 5 Big 8 telecasts for Prime Sports out of Denver. But the championship game was over there.
Youngster made a good catch on a foul ball there.
And we've had weather, obviously, in the state. But that very first telecast, one of my dear friends in the business, Sam Horizon, camera guy, camera person, I should say.
Line right at Dylan Noisy.
Is in center field in the tower, which is a scaffolding that is long chained to the fence. And this wind kicked up. And I'm watching Sam go back and forth in center field. And I was like, abandoned ship, left the camera alone.
Locked the camera down.
He went on to, was John Madden's booth camera person for a number of years till he retired. Now he just does Rockies telecast. But Sam was, I thought he was getting ready to fly with Toto.
That was out at All Sports Stadium, you said?
The old ballpark.
This one on the ground at Josh Young, bobbles it, has it, and the throw to first is dug out by Warren, who saves Young an error and completes a 1-2-3 inning for Bryce Bonnet. First 1-2-3 inning that we've had. 4-1, Jayhawks on top, headed to the last of the third. There's Ryan Sear headed back out for the Jayhawks here in the bottom of the third inning. 2 innings, 2 hits, 1 earned run, and a strikeout with no walks to this point. The KU pitching staff has been busy, but they should be fairly rested. Nobody has had to pitch all that much here in this Big 12 championship, but they have used 10 different pitchers. You see Berry, Haggerty, and Goldsberry have each made 2 appearances. But the most innings pitched, Ryan Zefferjohn, who started through 108 pitches last night. You would figure just about everybody else, other than maybe Blake Goldsberry, would be available today.
And I think Goldsberry, because he only threw 40-something pitches, he's probably ready to go today, too, for an inning. Maybe get you out of an inning, a difficult situation. He's pitched well in the tournament.
It's season on the line, and all hands on deck if need be.
I think realistically, if Coach Price could get 6 out of him, out of Sear, he'd be doing backflips in the dugout. Would absolutely love the result of that, and then take his chances the last 3.
Well, the back part of the bullpen has been the strength for Kansas this year. Berry, Goldberry, and Ulane. Cole Stillwell's first at bat of the day. Into right center field. That's in a good spot for Stillwell, and it's going to land. It bounces past Burnham and rolls to the base of the wall. On his horse toward third goes Stillwell. He's there standing to start the Texas Tech third.
I just think with the wind, and you're down in the hole here at the stadium, as an outfielder, you just don't feel it. We've seen this numerous times on balls. It's a breaking ball, so he supplied the power to get this ball into right center, but it's a straight run to the ball versus recognizing that you have to take an angle and cut that ball off. If you do, you keep him to a double, not a triple.
It's the first triple of the year for Cole Stillwell. And the first pitch to Gabe Holt is fouled out of play. Holt had a base hit in the first. Oh, 0-2 to Holt. The first team all Big 12 outfielder.
If you're Ryan Graves, pitching coach for Kansas, from the observation of the first couple of innings, where's my swing and miss pitch? There's a head 0-2 here. See if you can get him to chase something.
Right back up the middle. This will score the run as Cosentino circles to the ball and throws out Holt, but he drives in Cole Stillwell, and the lead has been cut in half. It's 4-2 Kansas.
Well, it's easy to say early in the game or late in the game, bring your infield in. If you do, you cost yourself a base runner. Run's going to score, and that ball gets through. You give up 1 to get 1.
That's exactly what the Jayhawks have done. That clears the bases. Here's Noisy, who hit into a 6-3 double play his first time.
And not easy. I mean, this guy can fly. And they were able to double off he and Holt, 2 of the fastest guys in the Big 12, maybe the country.
Pitch inside to Dylan Noisy. Dylan's brother Sheldon, great player at Oklahoma. He was an all Big 12 shortstop and closer.
I looked up last night. Got some home runs, RBIs, hitting about 265 for Las Vegas in the Pacific Coast League, which is now Oakland's AAA affiliate.
That would be Sheldon you're talking about.
Mm-hmm.
Dylan draws a 4-pitch walk.
Well, his speed, 16 out of 17 stolen bases. A walk is like a double sometimes. And that's what you kind of got to work around right now, particularly this part of the lineup of the Red Raiders with Klein, Young, and Warren coming up. And that on cue will get Ryan Graves out to the mound.
Indeed, the pitching coach for the Jayhawks makes a visit to Sear. It's a second walk that Sear has issued today. Kansas got 2 in the first and 2 more in the second. Jax Groshans has a 2-run single. The Red Raiders are chipping away in this elimination game. One more game today. It will be elimination game in Division II of this championship. Baylor and TCU. Baylor lost to Oklahoma State 5-0 last night. TCU survived elimination with an incredible 14-run inning in beating Oklahoma 15-3 yesterday. Watson and Humphreys drove in 4 runs apiece for TCU yesterday as Jim Schlossnagel's team plays on to that game this evening against Baylor. And then the winner of that one would have to beat Oklahoma State twice in that division. Winner of this one has to beat West Virginia twice. Brian Klein struck out his first time. Klein out of Keller, Texas, Timber Creek High School. His only hit in this championship is a triple. He's driven in a run. This one hit well right at the center fielder Burnham. And there's out number 2. And Josh Young will be the batter. Young hit by pitch to start the second and scored a run back after that plate appearance. 3 out of 6 with a double here in the Big 12 championship. There goes Noisy. Throw is right on target. And Groshans throws out Noisy to end the inning. Jax Groshans doing it at the plate and behind the plate for Kansas. He's driven in 2 runs and he guns down Dylan Noisy. We'll visit with Texas Tech head coach Tim Tadlock when we return. Back with you at the Chickasaw Bricktown Ballpark. 4-2 Jayhawks on top of the Red Raiders. Chad McKee, George Frazier, joined by Tim Tadlock, the head coach of the Red Raiders. And got a little come from behind to do, but just offense, the way that they have produced runs throughout the year, still have to be confident that you can get right back in this thing.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's a tournament game, and it's never over till it's over. You keep playing and try to hang good at-bats together.
And I know inside your jersey you got on, that heart rate moves a lot faster, but outwardly you bring a lot of calmness to your club.
You know these guys are waiting on us, right? I mean,
yeah, go ahead. Get them dug out.
You bet. Thanks,
See you.
Guys.
Thanks.
Tim Tadlock, head coach of the Red Raiders. 3 appearances in Omaha in the last 6 years. They're trying to go an odd year. It's been 14, 16, and 18. Ground ball to Young. Shows off that arm from back in the hole. And he throws out Schinkel.
Now batting the center fielder, Casey Burnham.
Really nice play on the back end, and you see the arm strength scouts like.
I mean, he's very confident he didn't have to rush that throw out to the backhand. He just put the backside and loaded and let it go. Perfect strike.
Here's Casey Burnham.
And I really think it's more the body. When they say people want him to play third base, I think they're more comfortable with him at third than they are short. I'm talking about pro people, draft people.
Burnham struck out his first time.
I walked out last night and I ran into an assistant general manager last night. And he said, he said, how long do you think it'd take before those two guys kill you to Manoah? Manoah would be able to already start at the big league level.
Right.
And I looked at him and I said, well, who do you got starting Friday night? You might want to switch him out. He just said, I kind of like what you're saying there.
Young again up with this one. And Burnham is retired. That's 6 in a row retired by Bryce Bonnet.
Well, last night I felt like it was lost too. The job Keeling did so much about Manoah's job and then velocity, and obviously they won the game and he pitched really well. But Killian went 7 innings, 2 hits, and gave up 2 runs. And quite honestly, not to bash people, but if the left fielder catches the baseball, he doesn't give up any runs.
Yeah, at one point, I mean, he's sitting there in about the 5th inning with a 1 or 2 hit shutout.
Yeah, 7 innings of baseball, struck out 10, walked 2.
And Tim Tadlock said that as much last night. He said felt like Killian was outstanding, fastball command, matched Manoah pitch for pitch, and he kept Texas Tech in that game with a chance to win.
When you get 2 guys, 2 monsters like that going head to head, you're just waiting on the first hiccup. You just don't know. Is it going to be a bunt? Is it going to be a swing and bunt? Is it going to be a flare, or is it going to be a big base hit? What's it going to be that opens that game up for one of the other clubs? And unfortunately, it was a fly ball to left.
Wagner has walked and scored twice in this game. And this one fouled up the third base side. So we've seen a couple of ground balls out there to Josh Young. He played hurt a bit this year, had a quad injury. And they moved him away from short. They let Holt play there a little bit. Holt's a really good shortstop as well. They've got him in the outfield. But once Young came back from that quad injury, got himself healthy, the defense has really taken off for Texas Tech too.
Good clubs catch the baseball and they do it. It's all anchored by everything up the middle. And with Young at short, they're a better team.
3 walks that Jack Wagner has been issued. They're treating him like he's Babe Ruth.
Second baseman, James Cosentino.
Bonin has issued 4 walks today. And with 2 down, here's Cosentino, who has singled and walked. The 1 and 2 batters in Kansas's lineup, Wagner and Cosentino, have been on base 5 times in 5 plate appearances. Cosentino singled and scored in the first, and then he walked in the second. In the air to left, kind of off the end of the bat, and Kurt Wilson makes the play. A walk and a man left in the 4th. Jayhawks lead it 4-2 in this elimination game. We'll visit with their head coach Rich Price when we come back. 4-2 Jayhawks on top. Elimination game here at the Big 12 Championship, and we're joined now by KU head coach Rich Price. We have seen Jax Groshans today drive in 2 runs, throw out a would-be base stealer. From a coach's perspective, what has it been like to have this guy?
Oh, it's been a pleasure, guys. He's made really good progress defensively as far as receiving and throwing, and he's one of the better offensive players in our league.
Got Ryan Sear back out there, coach. I know he wants to get after it. We'll let you do the same. Thank you, sir.
Thanks a lot, guys.
Rich Price, the head coach of the Jayhawks here, sends Ryan Sear back out.
And we didn't
Sure, because we had to go to break. The reality of that throw, he did it off one knee. He never came up out of his crouch from behind home plate on throwing out a very, very fast Dylan Noisy.
And the idea for Texas Tech, you know, if Noisy steals second, you've got Young at the plate. They took a chance. He got thrown out as Young sends a deep fly ball right center field. Back goes Burnham to the warning track to pull that one in. And maybe that ball carried a little further than we might have thought.
Run to the spot, track the baseball, but look at your flags. Look what you're dealing with. And then you can get back to the ball and make the catch, and exactly what Burnham did to retire Young.
Cameron Warren now. Ryan Sear leads the Big 12 with 4 complete games. Had 3 straight complete games earlier this year. The last of which was against Texas on May the 7th. This is scalded to center field by Warren, but again, into the warning track goes Burnham. 2 down.
The last 2 balls hit, if you're in love with those, are home runs.
Yeah. A lot of parks, they're home runs, but not this one.
Yeah, big old ballpark you have here in Oklahoma City. I mean, Warren and Young both scalded that baseball, but guess what? They're making left turns heading to the dugout. That's all you care about right now.
And that's what it's about for Sear. You see the wind. Wind is helping these balls even. It's blowing out toward left and left center today. Base is empty and 2 gone now for Cody Masters, and he sends another one right at Burnham to the warning track and out. 3 fly balls to the warning track and nothing to show for it for the Red Raiders. 4-2 Kansas. They're coming back to the plate in the top of the 5th. Got the uniforms on, playing a little catch out in the outfield. Cannot beat fun here at the Chickasaw Bricktown Ballpark. And I think so far, a solid start for Bryce Bonnet. Had trouble in the first and second innings, but he's kind of settled in here, George.
Well, it wasn't a lot of trouble, meaning that, yeah, I made a mistake. I walked a guy in a base hit, got a couple of runs in, and had a bloop off the end of the glove with an error. It could have been the second out. So it's not like, okay, you look up at the board and you go, golly, 4 runs, but it's only on 4 hits as he works here into the 5th inning. Walks have been a bugaboo. He walked too many people.
Well, he's retired 8 of the last 9 batters and gotten through 4 innings. Groshans, Vosick, and Metcalf coming to the plate each for the 3rd time. This is how you want to face Groshans.
Nobody on?
Yes.
Nobody out?
Yes.
Just play. Yeah.
Makes
challenge it. You know what? He hits it out, but just nobody on base. He's been special today. Driven had 3 runs so far in this ball.
He did so, a sacrifice fly in the first, then the 2-run single in the second.
Grossens is rated the 108th prospect for the Major League Draft among college players. It's probably helped that stock a little bit here at the tournament.
Shoots this one sky high. Wind's going to get a hold of this one and blow it into the 3rd row of the upper deck. I mean, that thing gets above the stadium, and the jet stream
started out with the dugout. I mean, in all reality, Morrell thought he had a shot at it.
Yeah, the third baseman.
Yeah, and he ends up what? Upper deck 40 feet beyond where he was standing.
Groshans is 5 out of 9 in this Big 12 championship. Three and 1 the count. And there's ball 4. Fifth walk issued by Bonnet. So Grosjean's aboard to start the fifth.
Disappointing part. That's the fifth walk in the ballgame, if I'm not mistaken. Which I could be. I am a lot.
No, you're right.
Thanks, Dan.
Bosick is 0 for 2 with 2 strikeouts. Bosick's doubled twice here in this championship. He's driven in 5 runs. One and one the count. Ball and 2 strikes here to Bosick. Nolan Metcalf is on deck. Bosick is out of Omaha. His dad Bill was an all Big 8 player. Nebraska. This one lifted into shallow left field. Wilson calls everybody off. Bosick 0 for 3. And Nolan Metcalf will be the batter. So you were talking about the old Big 8 tournament. Brett Bosick's dad would most certainly have played in a Big 8 tournament at Nebraska.
Darren Erstad, head coach at Nebraska.
Metcalf singled in the first, driving in a run. And he hits a pop-up over on the first base side. Cameron Warren has room. The wind's going to help that one for Warren. 2 gone. So Grosjean stays at first base, and Benjamin Sims gets a crack with 2 down. Sims grounded to short in the first and lined out to the center fielder Noisy in the third. That's 9 of 11 retired by Bonnet.
Did a good job of wearing out that outside corner. And if you have that run and sink on your fastball, when it's down, it's going to sink, up, it's going to run. You're not getting any clean shots on the barrel of the bat. So you're getting a lot of balls topped, which puts the ball on the ground. And then you see a lot of these balls going opposite field. He's maintained the velocity well. He's been up to 92 through most of this ball game. 93 with the last fastball as he missed.
Each of the starting pitchers began his collegiate career at another school. Bonnet at Arkansas and Sear at Mississippi State. That one swung on and missed by Sims. 2-2.
Guys go to a school for whatever reason. Family. Could be a number of things. Didn't work out first time. Easy to give up. Instead, kind of reroute yourself, go to another school, and all of a sudden you're on the field playing baseball. It's all in the eyes of the beholder of who you performed for previously.
Sims keeps alive with that foul ball.
Go watch a Division II school play baseball. UCO, OCU, where Mickey's at. You go watch some of those games. You see guys in the 90s. throwing the baseball. See guys hitting the ball home runs. You get an awful lot of Division I guys unhappy with their situation. They drop down and play immediately. Pretty good.
Swing and a miss. Bonin strikes out. Sims. Leadoff walk to Groshans, but he's left stranded. 4-2 Jayhawks halfway through this elimination game.
Playing behind both Ryans, it gives you a lot of confidence for sure. When you have both of those guys have the ball in their hand, you know you're going to be in the game. They've been pitching lights out. It gives you a lot of confidence going forward just with the offensively that you only need a few runs to win that game.
Indeed, these two Ryans, Zephyrjan and Sear, terrific to play behind for this Kansas defense. Ryan Sear's been good today. He's limited Texas Tech to just 2 runs on 3 hits. He has thrown 4 complete games this year, and you know that Rich Price and pitching coach Ryan Graves will ride this guy as far as he can take him today. Sear so far 4 innings, 3 hits, 2 runs, 1 walk and 1 strikeout. He does pitch to contact, but so far there hasn't been much of that. Lower third of the Texas Tech lineup, Wilson, Morrell, and Stillwell here. This one well hit into right center field. Schinkel, though, back at the warning track. He pulls in another one. That is 4 consecutive fly ball outs to the warning track by the Red Raiders. All 3 of them in the 4th inning. And this is what Sear has done basically all day. Young, Warren, Masters all flied out to center. That is 5 straight fly ball outs, 4 straight to center field, and then that one to right field. So Morrell going to try to change things up here. Easton Morrell lined out to the left fielder Fossick his first time. That one a shot into the seats. Fortunately, it looks like everybody was paying attention down there. And that bounces all the way back out onto the field. A crowd of kiddos awaiting that souvenir. "10 years from now it'll be, yeah, you remember when I caught that line drive that was right at me? We were sitting in the seats in foul territory." One and 2 to Easton Morrell. Ripped out into right field. Base hit. Morrell takes a big turn, and Schinkel is up with it in right. 4th hit of the game for the Red Raiders. So Morrell is 1 out of 2, and Cole Stillwell, who tripled his first time, is at the plate. Stillwell, shallow fly ball, drifting out is the shortstop Benjamin Sims. Two down and back to the top of the order. Gabe Holt. He is 1 for 2. Holt singled in the first and then drove in a run with a ground out in the 3rd. Four out of 9 is Holt here in the Big 12 championship. Easton Morrell has not attempted a stolen base this year. That's a rocket back through the middle. Gabe Holt with his second hit of the day and the 5th for Texas Tech.
Now batting the center fielder, Dylan Noisy.
Big high leg kick and a base hit for Holt. First and second and 2 gone. Noisy hit into a double play in the first and then walked in the third. Dylan Noisy 8 home runs, 48 runs batted in. And a strike. Throw out to second base, and Cosentino way behind the bag. Just trying to keep Easton Morrell honest out there. Groshans blocks another one.
A lot of good movement behind home plate. This guy's very agile. You can see why scouts like him. Quiet. Hands are good. You know, Ryan Graves going to come out in a 1-1 count, 2 outs, and it is a big part of the game. You're in the 5th inning.
Dangerous guy, Noisy at the plate. So you scout around at some of the other conference tournaments that are happening this weekend. If you're one of those teams who's trying to play their way into the NCAA tournament, Kansas fits into that category. And they might have to win this championship in order to make the NCAA tournament. But they're hot at the end of the year. Oklahoma went 0-2 here in Bricktown. But they still have a solid RPI in the low 40s, depending upon which service you look at. TCU still trying to work their way in as well. But it is looking more and more like West Virginia, Oklahoma State, and this Texas Tech team will be regional hosts. And we'll see if maybe Baylor can do it as well.
I don't know if Baylor get to host or not, but I think they're in. I mean, they've had a good year, don't get me wrong. It just depends on all these other host sites they come up with. They deserve it.
And up and in on Noisy, and glances off the bat handle for a foul ball. And you look at other quote-unquote bubble teams in other conferences and how they did. As you see that check swing at tip. Michigan is 1-1 in the Big Ten. Virginia went 2-out of the ACC tournament. You got Florida, maybe a bubble team in the SEC. So you kind of have to compare your season and progress to some of those other bubble teams.
And I get Rich Price's campaign. He is 32-25 overall going into this game today.
When you play your first 25 games on the road, that's got to account for something.
Yeah, 12-12 at a neutral site. Good slider, comes up with a big strikeout to end the 5th.
And a big one with Holt and Morrell aboard. Sear comes up with a strikeout of Dylan Noisy. 2 hits and 2 left for the Red Raiders. 4-2 Jayhawks moving to the top of the 6th. Jayhawks lead it. They have done so from the get-go. Sacrifice fly by Jax Groshans scores Jack Wagner to make it 1-0. Then a base hit by Nolan Metcalf scored James Cosentino. It was 2-0. They added 2 more on Groshans' 2-run single here in the top of the 2nd inning. Before the Red Raiders began to chip away, a sacrifice fly by Kurt Wilson scored Josh Young, made it 4-1. Then a triple by Cole Stillwell and an RBI groundout by Holt right there. 4-2. And that's where we stand. Moving along to the 6th inning. Messenger, Schenkel, and Burnham due up. So West Virginia and Oklahoma State, they have the day off. What do you think they're doing today?
Well, I saw Randy Mazie over here with his kids watching a ball game a minute ago.
That's what baseball guys do.
So they
got the day off, go watch more baseball.
So he probably told the baseball ops guy, here's the keys to the bus, go have fun, I'll see you tomorrow.
Okay, that's fair.
Go to a movie, take him to the mall, let him wander around, tell the bus leads come back at 5, we're going to go get him something to eat, bring him back, and kind of hang out and just watch things, get prepared for a 9 a.m. game. I mean, that's kind of what you have to do. So very similar to these two teams. Whoever wins is going to turn around and play again early in the morning.
That's right. West Virginia awaits the winner of this game. 9 o'clock tomorrow morning. And if the Mountaineers win, that's it. They're through to the championship round. But if one of these teams beats West Virginia, that would force an if necessary game later tomorrow afternoon. Read Josh Holliday. He was talking about what his team will do on their day off after their win over Baylor last night. And he said, no, I want them to have some free time. I want them to go watch a movie, stare at their phones all day like kids like to do. Get them up, get them off their feet for a little bit, but let them understand that they've earned the right to have a day off here in this championship. You can find a few things to do down here in Bricktown. Just stay off those scooters.
Yeah, don't get on the scooter and get hurt. That's the last thing that Josh or any of these other head coaches want to hear about. I was on the scooter, coach. Tried to make a turn, bit the concrete.
Yeah.
It's the last thing you want to have happen to one of your players. Scooters off limits.
Except for you.
Not me. I'm out. I'm calling timeout on all that.
You're more of a horseback guy rather than a scooter.
Guy, four-wheeler, yeah, Gator, yeah, Polaris, I'm that guy. Tractor. I like things that have really good brakes. I learned a long time ago, don't get on anything that doesn't have a brakes, which is a snowboard and a set of skis.
Yeah, I'm staying away from those as well. Another 2-2 is outside. You were saying that when you played in Montreal.
Oh, here we go.
Am I allowed to tell that
story?
Sure,
absolutely.
Okay,
yeah.
you would ride on the. They have the
they
Mounties.
Might be bored, but I mean, yeah.
Well, they have the Canadian Mounted Police, and
yes.
They would let you ride on their horse on occasion.
Yes, and I'd ride out to bat. I remember one day I rode out in batting practice at 2:30, early BP.
On a horse.
Yeah, Billy wasn't amused.
I bet not. Played on a hop here by Noisy.
Took a chance on that. Took off after it. Didn't want to leave his feet, go airborne, and then have that ball get by him. But was able to scoop it, but a base hit to get things going for the Jayhawks. Messenger, second time on base. Pretty good job of hitting here. Fastball in. Didn't get a lot of it, but strength carries it out in front of Noisy. Noisy comes in. Watch this scoop right here. That ball gets by him. It's off to the races. We've seen one inside the park. Kansas State had one yesterday.
And Tim Tadlock is out of the Texas Tech dugout. That might be it, and it will be. Already the call to the bullpen has been made, and the day is done here for Bryce Bonin. He's able to get Texas Tech through 5 innings. He's given up 4 runs. We will reset his day and tell you about the new Texas Tech pitcher when we come back to Bricktown. The day is done for Bryce Bonin. The responsibility is not. He leaves a man out there, but Bonin solid. 5 innings, 5 hits, 4 runs, 4 walks. The biggest problem for him today.
It was. I mean, that's he dealt with it. 5 walks total in the ball game, 5 strikeouts. He had 4 earned runs given up, but he'll turn it over to Connor Queen. He hasn't pitched a whole lot this year. 11 in the 3rd inning, 7 strikeouts, 5 walks. Interesting note, he has not given up a run yet this year. The burly Connor Queen. The beard, he looks the part for a reliever coming out of the bullpen.
Yeah, he does. I'm jealous of that beard, to be quite honest with you.
Why don't you let yours grow like that?
Yeah.
Little
Too
Grizzly
itchy.
Adams look.
Too itchy. Although we do save on makeup costs.
They have softener. Beard softener. I saw it on Shark Tank one night.
I think maybe he and the Big 12 Co-Player of the Year, Davis Wenzel, had a beard growing contest at Baylor.
Who would win that one?
Pretty good comparison.
Yeah.
Sacrifice situation for Schinkel, who did sacrifice back in the 2nd. He's got a sacrifice and a ground out. Easton Morrell crashing at third. That pitch up and in, glances off Stillwell's glove on its way to the back screen.
Wow. You want to elevate the fastball up into the zone, but that looked appeared to be well up into the zone, right over the helmet, off the glove of Stillwell. An out of control fastball at 92 miles an hour.
Certainly get Schinkel's attention.
Yeah, now the bunt defense changes, where you had your third baseman coming in to try to get the double play. Now it changes where you're being worn in, and they're going to switch positions here.
Yeah.
Young will come to third, and Morrell will go to shortstop.
So you see it there. That is Young at third base now. Bunt out in front of the plate. This is not going to get the sacrifice done. Picked up by Stillwell.
In this position as a batter, you want to bunt the ball hard up the third baseline. You want Young to have to come get this baseball. When it popped right out on the dirt, backspin to your catcher, job not done.
So one down, and Burnham will be the batter as Messenger stays put at second base. Burnham is 0 for 2. He has struck out and grounded out. Downstairs, 2 balls, no strikes. Connor Queen's longest outing was 2 2/3 innings. That was at Oklahoma back on May the 4th. Throws that one right past Burnham.
Well, part of the deal, he has that ability to strike somebody out. So you go to your bullpen to kind of quench things right now. He's able to get the one out. He did throw the wild pitch, advance the runner, I get it. But he's got one out. He just saw that explosive fastball at 93. Blow right by the hitter. Well, if he can come up with a punch out here, move your infield around a little bit, set it up differently for you.
To Young at short. He's going to throw to third to cut down the lead runner, Messenger, and that's exactly what they do. 6-5.
That's kind of a rule of thumb. When a ball's hit hard like that on the line out in front of you, you freeze and get back to the bag and make Young go to first base with it. Become a pretty easy play here. Somebody wants to replay.
Well, maybe they'll look at this tag play at third base with Morrell applying the tag on Messer.
Out. This should be a short one.
Yeah, that's an out. We had 5 replays yesterday. 2 of them were overturned.
First 7 innings of the game took an hour and a half. The last took an hour and a half because of 5 replays, pitching changes, and everything else that go with it. But when a coach asks, there's a reason.
That's right. That's why it's in play. Second year for replay in collegiate baseball.
Big difference. Coach Price got first and third and 1 out versus a runner on first and 2 outs. The only thing I don't like is, let your pitcher continue to throw. A lot of guys have chosen not to, or they may not get to in this situation.
There's Rich Price over there. Kansas has 3 2-out runs driven in today. And
5 yesterday, right?
Yeah, 5 yesterday. They're clutch. Little trivia. How many times has the #1 seed won the Big 12 championship? Wow, that's a good question. I'm guessing if we're asking, it's not very many.
Or it's a whole bunch.
I bet it's not very many.
You know what? I'm going to say like 3 times. Big 12, Big 8, Big 12.
Big 12.
only.
Strictly Big 12.
I'm going to say 2.
I'll say 4. Well, the call is affirmed. It's an out at third base. And the answer to the trivia question, we didn't give people very much time to think. The #1 seed, which Texas Tech is this year, has won the Big 12 tournament. Yes, we know the question. 4 times. What did I say, 5?
No, you said 4.
Texas 2009 the last time, so it's been now 11 tournaments since that's happened. Texas Tech has won the Big 12 tournament once. 1998. Throw to second base is not in time. So Burnham swipes second. Fans mockingly saying, replay. Jack Wagner has walked 3 times and scored twice.
11 stolen bases now for Burnham. Young will hold him on at second base, try to tighten it up on a base hit, have a shot at him at the plate. Defensively, not so deep in right and center, a little bit in left field, playing back closer to the warning track.
Queen throws in, and that was a good play there by Young to save that ball from going into center field.
They've picked 2 so far in the tournament, isn't that right? We've seen Young pick 2 different guys. And it's the catcher's no-look play. In other words, as a pitcher, you're staring at your catcher's mitt of your catcher. Another great look at the athleticism of Young. And so when he drops that glove, you go. As a pitcher, you wait for Young to get back in position and then make the pitch. Missed inside, 2-0.
So Wagner has walked 3 times. He's got a 2-0 count here. Fly ball toward the center fielder, Noisy. He's going to blow it back toward his right. Inning over. Nice job out of the pen by Connor Queen. A leadoff single, but then 3 straight outs for Connor Queen. 4-2 Kansas, headed to the bottom of the 6th. That is the junior pitcher Ryan Zefferjohn talking about himself and Ryan Sear and how this Kansas team has gotten hot at the end of the year. Bullpen has been solid. Berry, Goldberry, and Ulane in the back. Zefferjohn and Sear the starters. And they're trying to just play another day right now. That's what they want to do. Keep winning games. Brian Klein, Josh Young, Cameron Warren coming to the plate for Texas Tech against Sear.
Sear on the day has thrown 62 pitches. It's a very good number. So he works here in the bottom of the 6th inning. Interesting note on this. He threw 18 of those in the 1st inning. First broke back, come in, make an easy play on it. But in the 4th and 5th, a total of only 18 pitches.
It's almost like you better get to him when you have the chance.
I'll tell you, he's controlled this ball game very well. First 2 innings, he did not get the lead man out, and they scored a run. Same thing in the 3rd, but all of a sudden 4th, 5th, and here we are in the 6th. Lead man's out. Quick innings.
He's retired to 8 of 10. This is smoke deep left field by Young, and it is gone. A line drive missile by Young, and he makes it a 1-run game. The Big 12 co-player of the year, Josh Young, drills his 10th home run, RBI number 51. We have a 1-run game.
Pretty quick hands right here on a baseball that was in at 91 miles an hour. Elevated a little bit, almost like guessing in, look in, open front side, and generate some bat speed, and this was a humpback liner headed into that left field corner. And thought about trying to play it off of there. Vosick did, and didn't have a shot at it.
4-3 the score. Jayhawks once led 4-0. Texas Tech chipping away, though. And Cameron Warren certainly has the type of power to be able to tie it. 13 home runs, a Big 12 leading 66 runs driven in for Warren.
Back in the 4th inning, 3 straight fly balls deep to center field. Warren was one of those. Young hit one. Warren followed it up, and it finished by Cody Masters doing the same thing.
And it was 5 straight fly ball outs.
That's this wind in Oklahoma today. Kind of one of the things you got to be careful about is getting the ball elevated.
Big whack there. Warren lifts this one foul. Cam Warren from about 15 or 20 minutes away from here, Midwest City, Oklahoma, Carl Albert High School. Midwest City and Carl Albert, those two high schools there, produced some big leaguers over the year. You got Matt Kemp, JT Realmuto, catcher for the Nationals. Warren hits a pop-up. Wynn's going to keep this one in play. And in foul ground, Metcalf has it. 2 down. Brings in Cody Masters, the DH. Sears given up 18 home runs now this year. But when they're the solo variety, you can live with them.
Yeah, those are the ones you don't worry about too much. You know what year it was? I think Purple Island set the record for most home runs in a season with 54, 55 given up over 250 innings. It was like 40 of them were solo, 43 maybe.
Into right center field, a base hit for Masters. So the tying run is aboard. That's the 7th hit for Texas Tech.
Fastball, 2 outs, left-handed hitter. Took the ball right where he threw it and hit it into right center field. There's no action down in their bullpen. Pitch count right now is in pretty favorable terms for Sear. There's 74 pitches thrown. Been very economical.
1-run game, tying run is aboard. In the air, deep left field by Wilson. Back to the warning track is Vosick, and the Red Raiders have taken the lead. A 2-run home run by Kurt Wilson. 2 home runs in the inning, and top-seeded Texas Tech is not going down without a fight in the Big 12 championship.
Pretty excited for Vosick, who picks up his 3rd home run of the year. Excuse me. Wilson gets his 3rd home run of the year. I'll get it right. Punch me. 3rd home run of the year when his ball went out of the ballpark over the head of Vosick. How's that? Much better. Yeah, he got it. And honestly, folks, even with wind or no wind, this ball's almost to the back wall of the bullpen. It was hit well.
2 home runs in the inning for the Red Raiders to flip the script on the Jayhawks. And here's Easton Morrell. Wilson's 3rd home run. RBIs 10 and 11. One and 2 the count on Morrell. Morrell lined to the left fielder Vosick in the 2nd, and then singled in the 5th. 5 unanswered runs by the Red Raiders. He went around, strike 3 on Morrell. Sear gets the strikeout, but the Red Raiders get the lead. Big 12 co-player of the year Josh Young blasting a home run, his 10th of the year. And then 3 batters later, it was. This is the 2019 Phillips 66 Big 12 Baseball Championship from Chickasaw Bricktown Ballpark, downtown Oklahoma City. I'm Chad McKee with George Frazier. Have a new third baseman, Parker Kelly, in for the Red Raiders. Connor Queen goes back to the mound, where he was just what the doctor ordered for Texas Tech in relief of Bryce Bonnin in the 6th inning.
11 appearances on the year, 8 appearances, excuse me, 3 wins. So is this the good luck charm? We're down a couple, run Queen out, see if we can get on top. He goes to 4-0. Every team has one of those guys.
Swung on, popped up. Second baseman Brian Klein is out, as is the shortstop Young, and it'll be Young. That wind is so tricky, especially on those high pop-ups when it gets above the stadium. So Costantino is retired for the first out in the 7th, and here is Groshans. Queen has faced 4, he's retired 4. Groshans leans back out of the way.
Got to do something to get your team excited again after giving up a 3 spot in the bottom of the 6th.
Well, Texas Tech no stranger to overcoming deficits this year, as this one is swung on and hit in the air down the right field line. Got 3 converging, and it'll be Brian Klein retiring Groshans. Texas Tech trailed Oregon 8-0. February 16th, they won 12-11. And in the opening game of the series between these two teams, Kansas led 4-0 as they did today. Texas Tech won that one 5-4. As we told you, it was a walk-off base hit for Brian Klein in the 9th that won that. And then they trailed UTRGV 9-0 and won 19-11 on May the 1st. Red Raider rallies. But you got to have the pitching to go out there and shut it down, and that's what Connor Queen's done. Line drive, deep left field, on the move Wilson, back to the wall, and it's gone. Opposite field home run for Brett Vosick, and we are tied at 5-5.
Now the middle of their lineup has done a lot of damage today with Groshans, now Vosick. See, maybe I was reminiscent of having him hit a home run when I said he was the one that hit the home run. Actually went over his head. This time he got to return the favor.
He's hit one now.
A big home run to tie this score. His 5th of the year, 34 RBIs, and down this little alley down that left field wall, the ball is going to carry, and Queen gives up his first hit and run.
That is the first run he's given up all year.
Crazy, isn't it?
And it's a home run. We've seen the long ball at play here. And the Jayhawks have scored 4 of their 5 runs now with 2 outs. Nolan Metcalf. Swing and a miss on the 1-1. Metcalf today is 1 for 3. Single to the first, struck out in the 3rd, and then Popped up to the first baseman Warren in the 5th inning. What a resilient Kansas team this is. Trailed by 4 runs and by 3 runs yesterday to Kansas State, and 1 in the 11th inning. Young ranges over towards second base. Inning over, but a tie ball game. Brett Vosick with his 5th home run of the season for the Jayhawks. He has knotted things at 5-5 in elimination game in the 7th inning stretch at the Phillips 66 Big 12 Baseball Championship. Who needs the lake on this holiday weekend? Just bring them to the ballpark. Cornhole, you've got Connect 4 out there, play some catch out behind the outfield wall. And my favorite part is look at Dad. See him down in the low left corner. He's just relaxing.
You kids go play. I'm right here. Don't worry about a thing. I'm going to watch baseball.
Instant entertainment for the kiddos here at the Chickasaw Bricktown Ballpark.
And supposedly tonight after the ball game, you know, you're going to have 8,000 to 10,000 kids on a big, huge Little League parade here. Then there'll be fireworks afterwards. So some of those kids showing up early.
Making it fun for the kiddos who hope one day to play themselves here in this Big 12 championship. A good one in this elimination game. Bottom of the 7th inning. Sear going to work against Cole Stillwell. Stillwell tripled and scored in the 3rd. Popped up to the shortstop Sims in the 5th. .82 pitches now for Sear.
As he works into the 7th inning. Eight hits given up, but the 2 long balls been the most damaging.
Sear was ready to go. Stillwell calls time. A little wind maybe kicking up around the home plate area. Top of the order, Gabe Holt on deck. 3-2 now. And there's ball 4. Second walk issued by Sear. He struck out 3. Looks like we'll have a runner over at first for the Red Raiders. That is Max Marusic.
Played in a few games this year, 41 total, 20 that he started. 8 of 10 in stolen base category.
So that's why Marshak is out there to try to maybe steal a base. Max Marshak running for Stillwell. Might mean we'll see Braxton Fulford come in and catch for the Red Raiders. Well hit to center field by Holt. Back to the warning track is Burnham. He looks up and this one is gone. It is Gabe Holt this time, giving the Red Raiders a 7-5 lead. Holt drills his 3rd home run of the year. He has 21 runs batted in. 4 home runs in the last 2 innings combined for these 2 teams.
Ball just carries and carries. Once you're into this wind, Chad, at 65, I might have a shot. This thing flies. You make a good pitch, and I know right now that Sears thinking, golly, I'm making good pitches. Ball gets into the flight. You watch your outfielder just carry, and keep going, and then finally see it go out of the ballpark. 33 RBIs now. He had 3 today in the ball game.
Bottom of the 7th inning, the Red Raiders have reassumed the lead.
Yeah, the pitching send made leadoff walk. This one's not a happy day for Grossens right now.
He's trying to smile through the pain, is Jack Grossens. Nine hits for the Red Raiders, and they've got the heart of this powerful lineup yet to come. Noisy, Klein, Young, and Warren. Nine hits for Texas Tech today, as this one is bounced to Messenger. And he retires Noisy for the first out. 3 home runs and a triple among the 9 hits. Klein is 0 for 3. He's flied out twice and struck out. This one goes flying foul, out of play. Boy, that parking garage is getting more and more populated over there behind the left field
wall. Do they
wall.
let him like put out the put out a little camp deal so you can build you a couple of hot dogs?
I think you're on your own. It's a little bit like a campground. You can't start a fire, but I would suppose if you have a propane grill, you might be able to use that.
George Foreman.
A George Foreman, a George Fraser grill.
No.
There they are.
It's got a pretty good group up there for tonight. Of course, fireworks mentioned earlier a couple minutes ago. The parade of the Little League teams in between games, and then you also have the fireworks. So the light show at the ballpark plus fireworks.
Wow. One and 2 to Brian Klein. That's well hit to straightaway center field. Burnham over to his right. Wind carrying it that way. 2 down.
For the Red Raiders, the shortstop, Josh Young.
And now Josh Young will be the batter. He hit a solo home run back in the 6th. That's this Texas Tech offense. They hit 3 home runs in 7 hitters. You get Young, and then 3 batters later Wilson, and then 3 batters later Holt. That's what they do to you. Josh Young, co-Big 12 Player of the Year this year, along with Davis Wenzel of Baylor, and he's also one of the top 10 according to D1Baseball.com. TCU pitcher Nick Lodolo. We saw Alek Manoah do his thing last night for West Virginia, didn't we?
Yes, we did, and his stock raised. I looked on a pre-draft deal today, probably somewhere in the 9 through 12. Young had actually dropped to the Nationals with the 27th, 28th pick in the draft.
So we're not talking about just drafted guys, but those first 4, they're potential first-round draft picks.
Yeah, exactly. Bobby Witt Jr., Bobby Witt's son down in Dallas, a commit to the University of Oklahoma. And there's talk of him being 1-1, the first pick in the draft, or possibly, if not there, the Kansas City would take him with the 2nd pick.
Zephyr John, Gabe Holt, Caleb Killian.
Killian made him some money last night. He landed the breaking ball well. The fastball got to 96, 97 at times last night. It's crazy to say you pitch all year, make 15 starts, you make one start in front of a big crowd,
and it's the money maker.
Money. Yeah, you made money.
It's the stage that you're on, right?
Well, so, it's the eyes. You know, a lot of times the level of scouting.
Slow roller, barehanded by Sear, and a good throw to first to Metcalf to retire Young. But a 2-run home run by Gabe Holt has the top-seeded Red Raiders on top. Does this resilient Kansas club have another comeback in it? Well, these two teams have gotten an early start on the Friday night fireworks. They're going to hit the Bricktown ballpark tonight. It was Josh Young that got it started off. Brett Vosick driving one out of the park. Gabe Holt doing his part. That one got way out of here. 4 home runs here in the last 2 innings by these two teams. That makes the kiddos happy.
A lot of souvenirs going out the window, and for Queen, he gave up his first earned run all year in 13 innings now.
He's just got the look of a reliever there. The beard, the glasses, the high socks, and there's a souvenir for a kiddo.
Let's see if one of the moms go out there and say, I'll give you $50 to give my son's home run ball back.
You think so?
No. The minor league ballpark, see, a long time ago, and even American Legion, I'm going way back, they used to try to entice the fans, entice them a little bit by saying, if you take the ball back to the concession stand, you'll get a Coke. They don't do that anymore.
No. Well, let's do the math on it. What does a baseball, a minor league or big league baseball cost?
$12-15.
Although sodas are expensive at big league parks,
they're not that expensive.
They're not that expensive.
Not the big league, minor league parks.
Yeah, minor league.
Guys, the minor league games, they used to do that all the time. Remember, they ran a shortage of balls one time. Burlington, Iowa. They offered hot dogs if you bring it back, thinking the food might get it back.
No. If there's a shortage of something, a commodity, people are going to value it more than the other thing.
Oh, yeah.
That's basic economics. Anything further than that, you're out of luck with me. Sims shoots one out into center field. And the tying run will come to the plate for Kansas. You did not expect Rich Price's Jayhawks to go away quietly.
Not one bit. No, this club, 32-game winner on the year, is not going to sit off to the wayside, not try to put up a decent fight here in the 8th.
So the bullpen gets active again for Texas Tech. One of the great mustaches in college baseball, Dane Haveman, getting loose. He pitched against Kansas State back on Wednesday.
Are you his agent for a mustache commercial?
No. Skylar Messenger is the batter. He's got 2 hits. That gets past Fulford, who is the new catcher. Thought he might come on for Stillwell after Stillwell was pinch run for. And it is Fulford back there. That moves Sims into scoring position.
That a ball, when you drop down to the knees and call it the 5-hole, went right through it. You got to drop down like a hockey goalie, not let that thing get through you.
You talk about this all the time. So many parks around college baseball have turf fields, including the base pits in the home plate area, and you get used to the ball bouncing up a little more than it does in the dirt.
Yeah, they pick it more than they block it.
This one is foul off the bat of Skylar Messenger. Down and into Messenger. Messenger singled in the second. And he was one of 2 runners to score on Groshen's 2-run single. At the time, that gave KU a 4-0 lead. The difference right now is Gabe Holt's 2-run home run in the bottom of the 7th.
Remember, Texas Tech very good at the pickoff at second. Young's backing off. Once he gets to a position, Queen will throw the ball.
3-1. A walk would bring the go-ahead run to the plate with nobody out. Baylor and TCU coming up next. Bill Dolman, Mickey Tettleton will call that one for you. That's an elimination game. Oh, you're staying around. You're going to call that.
Yeah. Mickey has an important endeavor tonight. His son has graduated.
That is important. And congratulations. Ground ball to short. And Young able to retire Messenger. Sims stays put at second base. Looks like we may have a pinch hitter here for the Jayhawks. Rudy Carey will pinch hit.
Until the injury to his knee, had played a majority of right field for the Jayhawks. You see on your television, heavily braced right knee. Saw him going through drills prior to the baseball game to get the mobility of this. As long as it's straight ahead, I think he's pretty much okay running wise. It's making the turns.
And he swings and skies one out into left field. Wind's going to blow this one out just a little bit, but Kurt Wilson is able to get there under that gentle fly ball. So Rudy Carey swings at the first pitch, and we wish him the best in his recovery from that knee injury. But
good
you're
guy,
right. Yeah.
Really good guy.
And an important member of this ball club until the injury. He had started 41 games. So 2 down. Sims stays at second, and here's Burnham.
Yeah, Tim Tadlock was just waiting to hear if Haverman was ready, and he is.
So Tim Tadlock back out. Looks like that may do it for Connor Queen. He has given up his first run of the year here, but he's been really good for the Red Raiders, and their offense has exploded with the long ball to get them back on top. So it looks like Haverman's headed into the game for Queen. Red Raiders on top 7-5. Top of the 8th inning. Elimination game. Back to the bullpen go the Red Raiders, and they summon the left-hander Dane Haverman. What a job by Queen. 2 2/3 he gave the 1 earned run in relief of the starter Bonnet. And that's what has allowed this offense to come back. And Haverman pitched on Wednesday. A third of an inning against Kansas State, gave up a walk.
34 1/3 innings on the season, 48 punch-outs. He's given up 9 extra base hit out of the 37 hits given up on the year. The opposition has hit .285 against.
Casey Burnham is the scheduled hitter, and then the top of the order, Jack Wagner. Kansas has Benjamin Sims out at second base. Once again, the winner of this one will play West Virginia tomorrow morning at 9 a.m. and then would have to beat the Mountaineers twice to keep West Virginia from moving to the championship game. Our attendance 5,974 here at the Chickasaw Bricktown Ballpark. Good attendance.
This game particularly, I think, last night Oklahoma State brought a good crowd in here with them when they were able to defeat Baylor last night. Behind Jansen Elliott did a very nice job. Battenfield finished things up.
And Jensen Elliott got his 9th win for Oklahoma State, 6 innings.
Good for him, coming back off Tommy John surgery, a couple of years to come back from that.
And so Oklahoma State is in the catbird seat in Division II. Either Baylor or TCU would have to beat the Cowboys twice tomorrow. Pinch hitter here for the Jayhawks. Brooks Asher batting for Burnham. So they'll get a right-hander against Haverman, the lefty. And gobbling it up is Klein. 1 pitch and 1 out for Haverman out of the bullpen. A leadoff single by Benjamin Sims, but he's left stranded. 7-5. Red Raiders headed to the bottom of the 8th. Welcome back to the Phillips 66 Big 12 Baseball Championship. You look at this Division 1. West Virginia awaiting the winner of this one. Mountaineers be able to get a good night's sleep, a restful day today, and then the winner of this will have to beat West Virginia twice to keep the Mountaineers from moving to Sunday's championship game. The other division, Oklahoma State is in the same spot as West Virginia. Third-seeded Cowboys have won their first 2. Beat TCU and Baylor on their way. And then Baylor and TCU tonight, 7 o'clock. George and Bill Dolman will call that one for you. And that winner tonight will have to beat Oklahoma State twice tomorrow to keep the Cowboys out of the championship game. Dylan Ditzinger is the new right fielder for the Jayhawks. Some pinch hitting there by Rich Price to try to get the offense going. But so far, the Texas Tech bullpen has been too good with Queen and Haveman. And it's Blake Goldsberry out. Goldsberry pitched 2 innings in his Jayhawks game against their first opponent, Texas Tech, the other day.
Yes, he did. 2 appearances, 4 innings total on the tournament so far for him. The record of 6-6. He's making his 31st appearance. They hope to have a clean 8th to give his offense a chance in the top of the 9th to do some damage.
31 appearances for Goldsberry. That bullpen with Nathan Berry, Blake Goldsberry, and then we've also seen Jonah Ulane, just so reliable. Ulane's got 9 saves. Goldsberry's got 6 wins and 6 losses. He's been in games like this. Close. First pitch swinging is Warren, and he hits this one foul. Warren and then Masters and then Wilson, who hit a 2-run home run his last time. One and one. Ball and 2 strikes to Warren. Cameron Warren 1 for 3 today. Had a base hit back in the second. Swung on, popped up, shallow left. Looked like Sims slipped down trying to go get this, and the ball lands. Trying for 2, Warren. The throw is not in time. Well, let's get a look at the replay. I watched the ball go up, and it looked like Sims, as he retreated, slipped.
Well, I'll be honest with you. I think
there he goes.
Should have got there. He did slip. You did see it. And one look up by Vossick, and then Sims not able to recover to get to the baseball. Alertly, they fired this ball into second, but a hustling Cameron Warren got into the bag. They're going to review it.
Now, let's look here, because it looked like Warren's foot was on the bag, but watch, his entire body may have come off the bag, and Constantino still had his tag hand down on Warren. Let's get a look here. Watch, George. It looks like Warren comes completely off the bag after he slides in. They are reviewing it. So for now, it's a double for Warren.
Here it is again. Let's take a look at what Chad's talking about. It's a big man sliding into second. The foot, and bang, bang play here. Did the tag apply? Now let it roll forward. As he slid past, and Constantino picked it up. I don't think he put the glove back down, Chad.
This will be a better look.
Yeah, I don't know that Constantino put the glove back down, or if he did he do it quick enough?
You're right.
See, he didn't get the glove back down quick enough before the hand got on top of the bag.
Well, I can't tell if Warren's body is on the base right here when his foot is up. It almost doesn't look like it. And I'm not talking about there. I'm talking about just a split second before that. I'll tell you this, it's going to be difficult to overturn.
Second base umpire right on top of it. Brett Hendricks was standing 4 feet from the bag.
Reviews are becoming more and more common as the importance of the games
Well, you get late in the ball,
rises.
you get late in the game, why not check it?
Agreed.
I mean, you're not going to lose anything by it. You got them sitting there, use them.
So for Cameron Warren, his 17th double. We had 5 reviews in our game last night, Texas Tech and West Virginia. 2 of them were overturned. But what you see more often than not is they just don't have indisputable evidence to overturn a call.
Got him out.
And he's out. I think it was that split second where everything was off the body and Cosentino still had the tag down on it. Then Cosentino's glove came up and you had a second tag. But I think it happens right here. I think everything's off the bag.
That's just great TV work, what that
I
is.
agree.
Great camera work, replays, having the right angles.
So Warren does get credit for a base hit. This is backhanded by Metcalf, and he'll trot to the bag by himself. Warren gets his second hit, but caught trying to stretch it into a double. And now 2 down. Kurt Wilson hit a 2-run home run back in the 6th inning. Also had a sacrifice fly to drive in a run in the 2nd. 3 RBIs for the Texas Tech left fielder. And you know about Noisy, Klein, Young, and Warren. If Wilson and Morrell and those guys down in the bottom of the lineup continue to produce, this is a team that's bound for Omaha.
Going to be dangerous for sure.
Strike called, and 1-2 now to Wilson. Now Kansas in the process of getting just what they wanted from Goldsberry.
So far, so good. Change quickly with this. The quick pitch there. Got him. I love it.
A quick pitch.
I love it.
You relief pitchers are all alike.
No, I mean, he's in the windup. He's normally really nice and slow, and wham! He got out. Watch right here. Whoop. No late kick, just threw the strike. Caught him off guard.
Well, the kiddos are anticipating being out there a little bit later on. All the little leaguers here tonight will be on the field. We got fireworks later on. And Kansas hoping for some fireworks to keep things going for them here at the Big 12 Championship. 7-5 they trail. There's Dane Havman back out to the mound to try to close it out for the Red Raiders. Top of the order, Jack Wagner taking a ball from Havman. Wagner walked his first 3 times to the plate, scored in both the 1st and 2nd innings, and then he flied out to center field in the 6th. Wagner, Cosentino, and Groshans. And if you're Kansas in this situation, couldn't ask for anything more than to have Wagner and Cosentino and potentially Groshans with a chance to tie or take the lead. Rally caps and glasses are aplenty in the KU dugout.
Kansas was it Kansas State last night? It had
K-State
stacked about 15 in the air.
Yeah, and like a piece of bubble gum on top of the 15 stack. And it nearly worked.
It did nearly work. Well, it did work. They got 3 runs. They just couldn't finish it off.
Yeah, unfortunately, the rally carried over to the Kansas dugout, too. Foul ball off the press box up here and back into the seats. So the comeback, they trailed by 4 runs and 3 runs yesterday. Did the Jayhawks. You see Wagner's got 3 hits, including a pair of doubles here in this Big 12 championship. Texas Tech has rallied from down 4 runs again. Popped up on the infield. It'll be the first baseman Cameron Waring securing the first out.
Now batting the second baseman, James Cosentino.
And Texas Tech, not surprising with a veteran team and a good bullpen. We're down 9-0 against UTRGV and won that game. Here's Cosentino. It was his clutch 2-out RBI game-winning hit that propelled Kansas into this game yesterday. Ooh, that skips over Warren's glove. And Jax Groshans will come to the plate as the potential game-tying run for KU.
Cosentino's had a very, very good tournament for what was not his up-to-par type season of swinging the bat. A lot of loud outs. Now some of these loud hits starting to make its way through.
So Cosentino at first. Here is Groshans. He's driven in 3 runs today. 2-run single in the 4th at the time gave KU a 4-0 lead. Abman misses low. Groshans 12 home runs, 46 runs driven in. Pulled in the hole at short. Young backhands. Nice play. They get 1. Groshans will beat the rap on a head-first dive at first. 2 down.
Pretty nice play by Young. Backhand ball in the hole, and then a perfect strike. Thrown over to his double play partner, Mr. Klein, and Brian is able to get the force at second. He watches all about balance, rhythm, practice of doing this over and over and over again. And repetition creates success to what you do.
Now Brett Vosick. He homered in the 7th inning. He's the tying run. Vosick takes a strike. Prior to the home run, he had struck out twice and flied to left. Vosick and the Jayhawks clinging to hope. Oh, 0-2. Abman trying to get the save. Two strikes and nothing on Vosick. And time call.
See if he tries to take that slider a little bit off the plate. First 2 offerings were sliders. Let's see if he can get Vosick to chase here. Be careful leaving that 88-mile-an-hour fastball out over the plate.
Tech fans rising to their feet. Time called again. Abman trying to make a winner of Connor Queen, the relief pitcher today.
Tried to go with fastball. Missed down. Some angry fans from Texas Tech.
Grumpy.
Grumpy. Go to the concession stand, come back happy. It's Havman's mother we're hearing so loudly on that strike.
I tell you, I don't blame her. Now the 1-2 to Vasic. Pokes it to short. Young will take it to first. And the Red Raiders have advanced. 7-5 is the final score. Havman comes on to get the save and preserve it. Texas Tech's offense producing 3 home runs in the final 3 innings to rally from a 4-run deficit. They are the first #1 seed to play in the Big 12 championship semifinals since 2014. And for the Jayhawks, a terrific run comes to an end. They win 8 of their final 12 games to bump their RPI points up, and they will have to find out their NCAA tournament fate when the bracket is unveiled on Monday. It's the Red Raiders' day to celebrate, though. They will move on to a 9 a.m. game tomorrow against the West Virginia Mountaineers. Mountaineers beat the Red Raiders last night behind Alec Manoah. Tech will have to beat West Virginia twice tomorrow to keep the Mountaineers from moving on to Sunday's championship. But the important thing for Texas Tech is they will play another day here in Bricktown. Home runs by Josh Young, Kurt Wilson, and Gabe Holt. Holt's game-winning home run in the bottom of the 7th was a 2-run shot. You look at the other division here, where Baylor and TCU will play coming up next. The winner of that one has to play Oklahoma State tomorrow at 12:30 and beat the Cowboys twice to keep Oklahoma State from advancing to the finals.